Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join me here today. Let's see. Lots of noise. My name is Reverend Maria R. Vanatides, and this is A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality. This novel is an audiovisual version of my book, TheSovereignLight, named after my ministry. And this is day 274. And the pages, two of them, 676 and 77 out of 850. Won't you join me here today on what is the soul and how is it different from the ego? The intention of the self is that which comes most natural to be, and the sabotage is the film and sometimes clear membrane and or glass that it looks through to find reality. Everything that the self can touch as real, it has created, but not to see it in the way it had intended to experience. And so, with that said, what are some of your interferences that get in the way of your true resonance that would distort your reality, that we must work through and bring up some beliefs, some thoughts, some of them that are even borrowed and most of the time not even of our own. And with that said, let's begin today by taking a few deep breaths in and out, and finding that place of center, that resonance, that field, your access point. And with a few deep breaths in, just ground and center. And these words that you might reaffirm throughout the day and see what you will get in confirmation of them. Putting these words together in this statement, let's begin. Sounds good? I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. And take this statement with you throughout the day. And whenever you see these distortions coming up that interfere with your own truth of resonance and preference to how it is your frequency might be reacting energetically. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling stressed? What is it that you're seeing through these lenses that are most challenging? And how is it that you can work through them? And as I continue on to read from this book, the only way that the self can seek refuge from its demented programs is to become detached from them. Somewhat of a quantum entanglement theory here we going on. These programs it has taken in from childhood now come pouring like a waterfall on its creations to oversee within the limited parameters of space. They could even be as much to say as they've been implanted energetically to, perhaps they're even implants from passed on lineages. Some people might even call them illnesses or genetic diseases that really need to untangle and from their distortions and clear away and released. The way the program would prefer for the experience of the self is like a hell on earth, simply because they are outdated and from previous lineages. The ghosts from the past must be laid to rest, however, within the light. The hierarchy does not stop the function, and that from its creator that it was put in place. These are the limitations that we come to agree upon, that we give permission to oversee and take away from our actual freedom. These limitations are the creations of the self taking on persona, and from the many hurts of ego mind imprinted, again, implanted, like a microchip. They will continue to run the familiar programs until we're able to find them and unhook from them and remove them. And say, well, we don't need to be in those realities. We don't need to have access to those kind of realities because we worked through whatever it was we needed to learn from them, and we move on. And so this shame, this guilt, and all these other feelings that bring us down because it's tradition, because our family and our lineage from before, the generations that came before, that we owe them something, that we must carry on these implants within our energetic field that say we're either bipolar or we're whatever else it might be, that we might be in a dysfunction funk, that we must work through and stop believing in these thoughts and impregnating ourselves with these chemicals, these gases that have nothing to do with our resonance, that we just tolerate so that we fit in. This is not a thing that we must feel obliged like a duty. We must do things because we have the passion and the drive and the accomplishments that come with every project we set out to accomplish and complete. Not just leave wherever we might be, we want to escape into somewhere else, rather than be in the here and now, present. So whatever it is we're working on, we must be here and now present, not somewhere else thinking of our next project because we just got the full amount of payment. And why someone must hold on to the half of the payment just to keep us here. This is something that we should be looking at, because money is never enough. Money will never make us this happy because we're devaluing ourselves by doing so. We're worth more than those programs. So let's keep that thought and move on to the next page. I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. Meaning, when we look into a mirror, we see things in a backwards way. We see things in the contrast, in the opposite, so we can grow and learn about ourselves through our environment. This is what it meant in the old world way of thinking, opposites attract. When we get into higher frequencies, the newer earth, the newer world, the newer concept is like attracts like. And whatever resonance we might be on our frequency is that will be attracting, not opposites. So this is the new frequencies coming in, and we can choose to be part of the old world where we're carbon-based copies, or we can clear all that and become crystalline, light and pure and whole. But it takes a lot of spiritual inner work. There is no shortcuts to this. We're here to enjoy and savor every moment of it, every last drop of our education that we learn from our soul when we expose it with our consciousness, with our spirit. So, let's continue on with this sermon, shall we? The self must detach from its creations, because whatever you create, if you attach yourself to it, you become addicted to your creations. And this is how addiction begins. This is where it commences. Every addiction out there this is how it starts. We become attached to something that we create some haras, as the Buddhists would say. So, the self must detach from its creations and to seek its state of being with. How can it strive to praise itself and without feeling some sense of an accomplishment? It is very important to detach from its intended expectations of any real return for its investment, to not use them as excuses for the way it wants and or does not want to feel. Because you think you have something one up on somebody else, and you've exploited them, and you've taken their money and haven't provided the service or products. What you're actually doing is taking away from yourself. And it will repeat and repeat until you learn the lesson. And they will come to haunt you, full circle. So those are things, examples that we must have to clear in order to advance our frequency and move on. Allow the matrix to do whatever it wants with the imagination of the self, and to throw at it even the opposite, as mentioned from before on other pages. The less invested interest on the return of its energy can also equal as less resistance. No more excuses, no more blames. This is what it means to just be responsible. And we've distorted all these words with different meanings of what it means to be responsible. The self must learn to feel the way it wishes, and without its creations, then it can go beyond the limiting factors of its light body self, and through the isolation of centering into the childlike creator God being. So from even the very white light that it had reached inwardly to find came out from the vacuum void and to vortex out an electromagnetic pulsing field, this resonance, this field of resonance. The pulsing out into the field, the light of the self, and from the membrane, the many shades of color to reflect upon each perspective that cast its shadow to perceive. Just as a child admiring the many butterflies around it in the summer breeze, caressing the grass that it lightly sits on and gives out a sound of a chuckle, the heart open to its laughter. Nothing else and nothing more is the depth of simplicity from the eyes of a child in awe by creation. And the purpose for today is to see from a godlike state the many variations, and from observer mode lightheartedly impress upon the soul and angelically to play with its reflections. And thank you for joining me here today. I will leave you with today's affirmation and hope to see you again for a lengthy day it will be of many pages that we start into another aspect. Number 6 on what is plasma, what is a plasma being. That would be 275, lesson 240. So hope to see you there. And we're getting on pages. This would be starting from 678. And so let's see about today. I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. I will remove the lens when I am looking through the body's eyes today. I will remove the lens when looking through the body's eyes today. I will remove the lens when looking through the body's eyes today.